I am the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So I recently had an idea involving a last stand for the Night Lords against the Tyranids, and it involved a circle of rubble that they would be inside. So, yeah, we're going to try that and see how it goes. I bought these Terminators a couple months ago, and I haven't really... My painting bug hasn't really kicked back in yet. It kicked back in a little bit yesterday. I was working on Magnus, but I need to start working on these Terminators. I'd like to use them in a battle, like with more paint on them. Alright, so this is the rubble circle. The Night Lords will be on the inside of this, and the Tyranids will be on the outside. I'm super curious to see how this works out. Now I'll get to take a look at the armies. Alright, so we're going to start with the Night Lords. Not really led by anybody, but they have a Sorcerer and a Master of Executions. We got 4 groups of Space Marines, 2 10-man groups. One of the 10-mans has 2 heavy bolters. The other one has a plasma gun and a flamer. There's an 8-man squad with a missile launcher, a 9-man squad with an autocannon, a group of Havocs, 2 las cannons, the Reaper chain cannon, and a heavy bolter, 2 obliterators, a Hellbrute with a Hellbrute fist and the twin-linked las cannon, and then 3 rhinos. The rhinos are going to be kind of in a triangle kind of thing inside the circle. Kind of like as an extra added bit of protection, hopefully, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I'm hoping these guys make a good showing. And here we have the Tyranid force that will encircle the Night Lords inside their little ruined area. Got a lot of guys here. We got 8 5-man groups of Gene Stealers, 2 10-man groups of Cormorants, 10-man group of Gargoyles, 3-man group of Tyranid Warriors. These guys have a Spine Fist and a Venom Cannon, but otherwise they're Bone Swords. We got 4 Tyranid Warriors with a Spine Fist and a Flesh Borer, and pretty much just, yeah, Bone Swords. Tyranid Prime with a Bone Sword, a couple of Brood Lords, and a Hive Tyrant. I know these guys have Psyker capability, I just don't really feel the need for them to have the Psyker. I mean, having Synapse will be enough, I think. Not that I'm really worried about morale with these guys. So yeah, these guys are gonna encircle the Night Lords. I don't know, draw the noose tighter, as it were. I'm looking forward to it. It looks cool in my head, so I'm hoping it looks cool on the table too. Hopefully you guys can help me judge that. Alright, so we've got all of the Tyranids arranged in a circle. Most of a circle. And then we've got all the Night Lords here in the center. The Rhinos kind of got this little triangular bulwark formation thing with the actual Space Marine guys surrounding it. Havoc's in the center with the Sorcerer. Liberator's over here. Hellbrute on the far side there. So because the Tyranids are 13 inches away, I'm going to give the Night Lords one round of shooting before they get charged by this massive craziness. We'll go ahead and do Night Lords shooting. So because everything is 13 inches away, there was a limited amount of things to could shoot. These 2 obliterators focused their fire on this Trigon, doing some damage to it. The Hellbrute did a little bit of damage to the Tyrannifex. And then the special weapons that were included in the various groupings killed off 5 or 6 gene stealers, mostly on this side of the board. This squad lost most of their gene stealers. The rhinos did a little bit of damage, but not really a lot. I think the rhinos killed 1 gene stealer between the 3 of them. Alright, so now the part that I've seen in my head, but not on the table. We'll see how it goes. The tyranids are gonna move up. Some of these guys do have guns, so they'll probably shoot. And then they're gonna charge in. Alright, so the circle is getting smaller now. The 2 Trigons, the Tyrannifex, the Hive Tyrant, and the Tyranid Warriors all have guns. And they managed to, for the most part, pick off 1 or 2 Space Marines out of each squad. They managed to kill 6 in total. And now the part that I've actually been truly salivating over, the charge phase. Pretty much every Tyranid is going to charge. Hopefully, I mean, I'm wondering if there's going to be enough room for everybody to fit in here, but pretty much everyone that's across from somebody else, they're getting charged by them. There's just too many, I think, to even talk about who's charging what at this exact moment in time, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Alright, so everybody who charged something made their charge. They all survived Overwatch. Not all of them survived the actual confrontation. The Obliterators here managed to kill off 1 of the squads of Hormagaunts, and neither one of them died in the experience, so that was kind of nice. Nobody charged the Master of Executions, which was kind of funny, but it is what it is. The Gene Stealer charged into here also and died, but it and the Tyranid Prime managed to kill off some of these guys. Gene Stealers made it into these guys and killed a bunch of them. This Trigon actually charged into the Rhino and killed it. Thankfully it didn't explode, but, you know. Both sets of Gene Stealers over here charged into these guys and pretty much decimated them. Tyrannifex and Gene Stealers charged into the Hellbrute, and although they got it really far down, they didn't kill it. And it almost killed the Tyrannifex, which was super amazing. And then the Gene Stealers that charged into these guys did a little bit of damage, killed a couple of guys, but mostly paid for it in bad ways. So they didn't kill him on the first turn, which I figured they were going to, but we'll see what happens. I guess the Night Lords get to live another round. They're not going to move, but there are still some units that can shoot. We'll deal with that. So the only units that can actually shoot are the Havocs and the 2 remaining Rhinos. So the Havocs were all able to actually kill the Trigon that was over here. The Rhinos were not able to make anything work. Perhaps they're feeling a little demoralized by the loss of their fellow. Even though the Havocs did a really good job at avenging by killing this Trigon. That takes us to the fight phase. Probably have the Master of Executions charge into somebody so he doesn't feel all alone. Alright, well there were many occasions of pretty awesome rolling this time around. Most notably, this guy. He made the charge. He hit with everything. He wounded on pretty much everything. Yeah, they all died. That was super awesome. These guys kind of sucked. Nothing much happened over here. These guys killed off their Gene Stealers, and then the Dragon reminded them that it was still next to them. These guys killed off a Gene Stealer, and then they themselves just completely died. The Hellbrute actually managed to kill off the Tyrannifex, and then the Gene Stealers killed it off. These guys killed off their Gene Stealer. And these guys killed some of the Hormagaunts, but then the remaining Hormagaunts got one of the Obliterators. So they did, kind of okay, 50%-ish on surviving that. But now it's the Tyranid turn again, and there's a lot of fresh units that are like, oh, there's room for me to charge into. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So this group of 4 Tyranid warriors advanced to get up to here. Everybody else that moved, the Brood Lords, the Hive Tyrant, the 2 5-man groups back there, plus this 5-man, they all just kind of moved forward. Shooting, yeah. I guess we still have the Hive Tyrant and the Gargoyles that can shoot. Let's see if they can find some targets. Alright, so the Hive Tyrant managed to kill off one of these Havocs. That was crazy. The Gargoyles shot at this not yet charged group of Space Marines, but did not do anything to them at all. So that will take us to the charge phase. Pretty much if it's near it, it's getting charged. The Broodlord and these Gene Stealers are going into that. The Fresh Gene Stealers and the Hive Tyrant into the Rhino. These Gene Stealers into the Havocs. That should be it. It's easier to announce targets for charges when there's not an entire circle of them. Alright, well, let's see what's left when all is said and done. Alright, well, everybody made their charges, and there's just a lot of dead Space Marines. The Rhino's still alive. The Havocs got mauled pretty badly. The Rhino exploded. Well, it didn't explode, but it got destroyed, but it didn't blow up. These guys all died. The Obliterator that was here died. These guys actually managed to not completely lose their entire squad and did a little bit of damage to the Tyranid Prime. This guy killed off the 2 guys that it was fighting. And once again, I forgot that there was a sorcerer there. Second turn in a row. Oh well. Well, it is technically the Night Lord's turn, so maybe that sorcerer can do something, like cast Smite. I don't know. Alright, so the Master of Executions has moved a lot closer to this Brood Lord. I did remember the sorcerer. He did cast Smite. Tried to do it on this group of 3 in the hopes that I could either get the big one or, roll a 6 on a D3. Well, it did go off, it wasn't the big one. And while my D3 was nice, it was only a 4, so only 2 of them died, which is superbly unfortunate. I think these guys actually have bolt pistols, the Sorcerer and the Master of Executions, but we'll just go to the charge phase, which will be the Master of Executions and the Brood Lord. And this will maybe be the final. Well, I doubt that Gene Stealer is going to kill both Havocs, but it'll probably be their last turn. The Master of Executions most definitely made its charge, and he most definitely killed the Brood Lord, which was superbly amazing. The Havoc champion killed off the last Gene Stealer that was menacing them, like immediately menacing. These guys did another point of damage to the Tyranid Prime, and promptly lost 2 of their own for it. That was kind of cool, I guess. I mean, it's nice to see that there's still actual Space Marines that are still alive. I mean, the Havocs are actual Space Marines, but, like rank and file Space Marines. But, like, I guess this is probably their last turn alive, so it is turn to turn. Let's see if these guys want to move anywhere to get closer to things. Alright, so there's kind of been like a weird little dance here amongst the various units, kind of getting into place to better charge into things. Trigon kind of threaded a needle getting between things so that it doesn't get within engagement range and still get close to this Rhino. Cormorant's gotten closer to the Master of Executions. Hive Tyrant scooted over a bit to get better access to the Havocs. Gene Stealers have all just moved up in anticipation of charging into Havoc's Sorcerer and Rhino. I feel kind of bad for these gargoyles. I remembered to move them. I remembered to shoot with them a couple times, but I think they're only strength 3, so they're not really helpful here. I mean, I guess I could do some shooting. The Hive Tyrant and the Trigon have guns. And I guess those Tyranid warriors do too, but something in me just wants to see the visceral tearing apart of these guys. Like Starship Trooper style. So we're just gonna go straight to the charge phase. And yeah. Alright, so everybody mid their charges. They were all stupid close enough to do that. The Hormigons literally tore apart the Master of Execution. The Tyranid warriors came up and helped the Tyranid Prime rip apart the last 2 Space Marines that were here. The Hive Tyrant moved up and just annihilated the Havocs. Took both groups of Gene Stealers, but they killed the Sorcerer. And then the Trigon, Broodlord, and these 5 Gene Stealers managed to kill off the last Rhino. So yeah, that exceeded all of my expectations. Like, I feel bad for the Night Lords, but again, that was superbly excellent. It's always good when a video, like, in my opinion, did really well in my head. Like, it filmed well, it was a good execution, I think. I hope you guys like it, but yeah, that was nice. You made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it, especially on weird experimental ideas like this. It was a lot of fun filming this. There was certainly a lot more dice rolling than I thought about, but I never really think about the dice rolling when I'm trying to think of an idea, so out of the way. It's been a weird couple of weeks here, so it's nice to have a game and get some of the stress out. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and yeah, be blessed.